Okay, so we have no absences. Next on our agenda, we have the flag salute. Would anyone like to lead us in the flag salute today? I guess I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Pledge
of the United
allegiance to the earth and to all the creatures.
States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next on our agenda, we have public comment for items not on the agenda. Is there anyone here that has public comment for items not on the agenda? I only see
Yes,
6 of this.
I do. Raising my hand.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, good evening, everyone. I would like to apologize to the council for leaving last meeting in anger. I'll try in the future to wait for my turn to speak and to not let anybody provoke me into anger again. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucia. Does anybody else have any comments for items not on the agenda? Okay. Being none, you can put your hand down now, Lucia.
Yes,
Being
sorry.
none, we will continue on with our guest reports. Do we have anyone here from county planning? I don't see anyone from county planning. Emmy we did have a conversation, and she stated that there was no, she had added those two new, one new and one really old that had drifted off the radar and was put back on, but that there was no changes to anything, so nothing needed to be discussed. She might show up for a little, just to see if there's any questions, but she probably wouldn't. So that's why she's not here. So next we have a report from CHP Commander Klinenberg, because I know he's here.
Mm.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Greg.
Hi, good to see you all. Thanks for your time again, of course. And my report for this month is going to include 8 collisions for the area of Oceano and 1 DUI arrest. The collisions occurred, actually one was a DUI collision as well. Occurred at Beach and 19th Street. That was a DUI collision. Caused some minor injuries. It was also hit and run. We were able to apprehend the driver in that case. And then we had a non-injury hit and run collision at Strand, north of Pier Avenue, solo vehicle. It looked like it ran into a building for some reason. I don't have all the details of that, but we had a vehicle strike a building. We know what vehicle it is, and we know who's responsible for it. So I'm sure we're following up on that. We had a non-injury collision on Highway 1 west of 23rd Street. That was a vehicle that struck a parked vehicle, very minor damage in that case. Another one, Highway 1 south of Paso Robles Street, a solo vehicle that struck a sign. No injuries there as well. 23rd Street north of Paso Robles Street. That actually involved Five Cities Fire Authority. One of their fire trucks struck a parked vehicle. No injuries there. 23rd Street north of Laverne. Also a hit and run. An unknown vehicle struck a parked vehicle. in that case. Again, Highway 1 and 23rd. 2-vehicle collision there. No injury. Oh, I'm sorry. Minor injuries there. Just a complaint of pain. Only collision in that case. And then we had a collision at Jetty and Railroad Street. That was a solo vehicle that struck a utility pole. No injury. Actually, that was a school bus. We wrote 55 citations for the areas that include Oceano and the areas surrounding Oceano. So that doesn't include just Oceano proper. That includes SR1 and then a little bit south on SR1 as well. We have utilized our motors over by Contessa Coffee. We've utilized the speed sign there by Central Market and also over on the southbound side as well. Have gotten some good reports and are thankful that I'm thankful we're able to help. We've gotten some good reports from the community about what our efforts out there. The parking sign in front of Central Market saga continues. I talked with Caltrans about that. So Caltrans maintains apparently the maintenance of Highway 1 from curb to curb. Anything that's on the sidewalks is maintained by the county. And those signs there are county signs. So I have a call into Rachel Nakarati over at the county, and we're going to be working our way getting that sign put up through the county. And I think that's all I have. What do you guys have for me?
I think April has a question. Dury, Councilmember Dury.
You're muted.
Sorry, thank you. Hi, Greg.
Hi, April.
Hi, real quick. The first thing I wanted to ask is the sign right next to Central Market that says no parking start and there's no parking end. Did we ever find any more information out about that?
Yeah, that's the sign I'm talking about. That's
Okay.
the one I was talking about with Caltrans. I'm working with the county to get that put up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was the only thing that I have on that for old stuff. And then in the report that you just gave us, is there a way that we can find out of all these accidents or citations, how many were drivers within our district or area or county versus how many are not from this area? In particular, the DUI I was really curious about, but in general, I'm curious.
Sure. Let me look at our DUI arrest real quick.
If that's something you can tell us, or
the DUI arrest was a person who's a resident of Oceano. I can tell you that.
So it was.
There are. Here's what I'll say in general, without looking at each one specifically.
Okay.
Crashes generally happen within the area where you live. Most people crash in the areas where they live because it's simply where they drive the most.
Right.
And so without going through each one, I can tell you that, if we just looked at this may not be completely accurate with what I just said, but I imagine it would be in the ballpark. And if we looked over a period of time, I'm sure that would be the case.
Okay, and I can recognize that for this side of Oceano for sure. But we also live in a tourist town, and people are driving where they don't live.
Totally agree.
That's why I was asking.
I'm looking through the first several here.
And you have heard the joke where most accidents happen where you live, and so you should move.
Yeah. I can tell you right now that obviously we had a few hit and run collisions involved here, so I don't have.
It's okay if it's not off the top of your head. It's fine.
Yeah, well, I just looking, they're all Oceano.
Okay, that's all I was asking.
So.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Ronnie,
You
have a question?
Yeah, this is just a quick one. My understanding, Greg, is that all of the CHP accident data goes to Berkeley for in a database, the TIMS database or something like that.
Well, here's what I know for sure. We have a database called SWITTers. It stands for something. Yeah. I've always just called it SWITTers and never looked at it. All of our collision information goes up to our headquarters. Now it's a little bit more efficient because of how we complete our collision reports. They are able to, in Sacramento, access those reports without us having to print those out and send that information like we used to. And so they have that information at our headquarters in Switters. And Switters is actually outside of our headquarters, but we enter it into the Switters database.
Okay.
Now, TIMS is a separate database, and I do believe that Berkeley, that's where TIMS is located.
Yeah.
I think without knowing all of the ins and outs of that, somehow we do report to them, or they have access to our reports.
Okay. All right.
I know that, and so I'm not exactly sure, if they look at that differently or exactly what they do with that.
Okay. Well, don't spend any time digging into it, because I've got a contact, but it's relevant for us because SlowCog is writing a big grant for us to do curb gutters and sidewalks, and basically, it's all about pedestrian and bicycle safety. So
I spoke with Pete Rogers about that yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay, great. Because Tim's data then is something that the collision data is something we'll use in that grant. Yeah. So that's what I was asking. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Switters and Tim's, I'm pretty sure can get you exactly what you need there.
Yeah. So okay, thank you.
Yep, you are welcome.
Councilmember Casanovo, do you have a question?
Yes, just a simple question is if you would please, repeat what you say about the collision on Pier Avenue. I didn't understand it.
On Pier?
Yeah, north of Pier.
Well, here's what I know. A vehicle struck a building on Pier. Actually, it was on Strand, I think. Hold on. Let me get back to it.
Yeah, you said Strand.
It was on Strand north of Pier.
Oh, Strand or north of Pier?
Okay. So the housing side.
Yeah. And that vehicle struck a building. And we have the vehicle, and we know who the registered owner is. We just don't know who the driver is at this point.
Because I remember a while ago, there was another vehicle a year ago that struck, and something like that happened. It was a huge trailer, one of those huge, people drive around the country, and it was too big to go through. Sometimes they go through the alley, because sometimes Pier Avenue is so crowded. Yeah. And people take the alley. You know the one I'm talking about, right?
On Strand. You take Strand, you mean?
Exactly. Yeah. They take that alley and knock down all the power lines. That has happened before, and get to the Strand, and they can't turn. So I would like to know more about that.
Well, this doesn't appear to be related to that.
Okay, it's a small vehicle. It's a small vehicle.
This is a small vehicle. Yes. It's a pickup truck.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It was a pickup truck that.
Okay.
And it actually, looking at it, it didn't cause any damage to the truck itself, but it obviously had to damage the building in some way. Just me speculating, it's very minor. Whatever damage it was very minor to the building, because if there's no damage to the truck, then they couldn't have done that much damage to the building as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep, I'm sorry I'm not more specific about that.
Fine.
Anybody else with questions?
Good to see you all. Thank you for your time. Because of Thanksgiving, I have another meeting tonight, Zoom meeting, so I'm going to get prepared for that one as well. And it's good to see you all. Happy Thanksgiving.
Merry Christmas.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not. Are we going to have a meeting in December? Will there be one in December?
We will.
Okay. Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. I'll be on vacation for a portion of the month of December. So we'll exactly see how that falls out for the month. If I'm not here, I'll have my lieutenant will be on it. So
okay.
Good for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Okay. Alrighty. Next on our agenda, we have presentations. I don't believe we have any presentations tonight. Does anybody have a presentation? Being none, we have the review and approval of minutes. Hopefully you could access the minutes, and I'll give you 30 seconds or so to review the minutes and then have someone motion to approve.
I move we approve the minutes.
I second.
All those in favor?
I
Aye. Okay, minutes passed, approved. Alrighty, next we have the new business items, and the only thing I have on here is a redistricting discussion. So does anyone want to start that?
I would. I have something to share. I think I sent you all a copy of the letter that I wrote to the commission. So I'm not going to review that, but it's I just personally feel pretty fed up with the shabby treatment that Oceano gets and has gotten for so long. I'm not saying there's some things, that the county does do some things for us, but it was so blatant. The big promises of all the great Latino outreach, and at least as far as I know, and I guess this would be a question I'd have for everybody. Has anybody attended a Zoom meeting sponsored by the county consultants that's in Spanish and English, or seen flyers around or information or anything?
No.
Yeah.
Not online, not on Nextdoor, nowhere.
Right. So, I think that's just another, what do you call it, in another exhibit in the trial. And so I'm not gonna, that was pretty much, I'm going to the meeting tomorrow, and I will do public comment. I'm not gonna go back over that issue. I'll just make some other more general comments, but it really did annoy me. And I'll be interested to see if there's any comment from anybody on the board tomorrow about that.
So I am going also tomorrow morning to and participate in public comment, and I will be specifically addressing that topic. We only supposedly have 1 minute, so I'm sure there will be other individuals defending or preserving the district for whatever community of interest and whatever reasons that they have. But I'm specifically going to focus on the Latino population here in Oceano, us being the largest, Oceano having the largest population of Latinos, being at Unipomo being the second, and us having that community of interest being Latinos tied in with the ag, the fact that the reason that there are Latinos here in Oceano and Unipomo is because of our, large sector of agriculture land that has brought the Latinos to Oceano and to Unipomo, and has strengthened and enriched the history of both these unincorporated towns. So I will be mentioning that, and the fact that if they they separate us, they will be diluting the Latino vote. We'll have less chance of nominating somebody that the Latino population feels will address their issues. Also, I will be addressing the fact that what Charles just pointed out, that is just another, insult, or, putting salt on the wound there, that they just, if you're not going to do something, don't say you are. You might as well, you're hurting yourself by saying you're going to do something and then not doing it. You might as well just not say it. So the fact that they paid this company and that there was funds set aside. And if you were to read, Charles sent, I believe, everyone that document where it states all the promises that this company made this to the county. They painted themselves to be like this awesome expert company that does great, just tremendous work when it comes to outreach to the Latino population. Yet I'm Latina and I didn't see anything anywhere. I listen to the Latino radio station. I'm on Facebook. Listen, looking at various Latino sites on Facebook. The fact that Latinos are the biggest sector in the U.S., the U.S. practically, that is like into Facebook, and they didn't reach out on Facebook, and they call themselves, an expert professional company that reaches out to Latinos. Yet there was nothing on Facebook about it. I get things from, small agencies from Paso and San Maria, nonprofits, yet there was nothing on that. So if we didn't hear about it here in Oceano, I doubt it was done anywhere else in the county.
Mhm.
So I don't even know why they, and I am going to be saying, show us the evidence. And if they can't provide evidence that they did this, they should refund them, and that those funds should be set aside for further future translation services for the county.
Oceana specifically.
Yeah. So I think it's important that, public comment is made from our board there, and at least two of us will be going.
Mhm.
Lucia?
Yes. First of all, I want to say that I also will be going, and I would like to carpool with somebody. If anybody's going, I think there's going to be a lot of people going. It's going to be very hard to find parking. So let me know, please. And then number two, is any member council speaking for the council? Or are you just going to say, I will only speak for yourself? Or will any one of us going say, or since I guess we haven't really listened to each other's speech, so maybe, but is anybody going to read an official position? That's all I'm going to ask. Thank you.
Well, I can repeat the official position of the council, which is to keep the districts as they are. That's what we agreed to.
April has her hand up.
Yeah, April, go ahead.
I off the top of my head, I just wanted to say, Charles, if we've already turned in something to the county, I would not want you to waste any extra time reading something from the OAC and use your own personal time to be yourself and speak before the board. If we've already turned something in, I just wanted to throw that out there. If we only get a set amount of time, it's yours, and I think you should use it how you want to use it personally, or if you want to do it as the OAC, it's up to you. I also will be there. I'm happy to carpool, and I'm really disappointed that it's in person when I was at the courthouse today and they're completely shut down because of COVID. They were only open until noon. They only open until noon every day. There's only one window open at Superior Court. I mean, there's a ghost town of the county for our services, the public using them. Yet this meeting is in person. That is so important. And I also agree with you all. I saw nothing in our area. And I'm as, electronically plugged in as probably most of us on this group. And I saw nothing from the county anywhere at all, period. My friends weren't talking about it. My neighbors, my community, no one. And I even just went on the OCSD website, and they have county resources on their website, but nothing about redistricting at all, period. So that's what I had to add to it.
Councilmember Casanova?
Yes.
Hands up?
And you don't need to call me council member every time. And not even Casalinuovo. On the other hand, I do believe it's important for somebody to stand there in front of the entire crowd. I know we did send our official position, and I'm not going to fight or argue about this. I'm telling you how I feel. We sent our official, but who's going to read it? I mean, they hopefully will read it. But I think for somebody to stand there and say the Ocean Advisory Council believes that, I think it's important. And I like everything that Aline says, so I wouldn't have any problem if Alina spoke for us. But I do want to say something that's been bothering me lately that I brought up sometimes, and I didn't have any feedback. I did check out the census data, and the census data says that actually the Latino population of Oceano is not the majority, but that the non-Latino, the non-white population is the majority, but that does not mean necessarily the Latino. Now, I don't know about Nipomo. So I think we need to be maybe careful about saying that from now on. Thank you. So maybe I would like maybe to motion, yes, if I can do it immediately, that some of us speaks for the council tomorrow morning. Thank you.
I was thinking, since I'm really we just have 1 minute.
Right.
So after you say good morning, supervisors, my name is da da da, there goes like, I don't know, 15 seconds. But so I was just thinking of just saying, just focusing on us not being separated from Nipomo due to the dilution of the Latino vote, and also the fact that, and I'm going to time myself because I don't want to be cut off. I'm going to time myself to make sure I can fit it in 1 minute, and that they did not do the outreach. And if they did, they need to show evidence to the public that they did, where they did it, how they did it, and if they didn't, refund us that money. That's what I want to stress. So I think, I don't know if I should represent the council and just say that, or I don't know. I was just thinking of just going, along lifelong resident and OBCA founding member.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Representing OBCA, I don't know. I'll do whatever the council wants. Only because I'm focusing a lot on the Latino, and I don't want to be like, oh, it's just identity politics. But yeah, I think a significant group of any group that's over 1%, I think, in any society, in any community, needs a voice. And I want to be that voice for the Latinos because I don't think anyone else is going to speak up. So, I mean, unless you think my comments are appropriate to be, our position.
April's and Charles's hands.
Go ahead.
Briefly, I just wanted to let the group know that with the Latino Outreach Council, Debbie Arnold is a member of the Latino Outreach Council and is a district supervisor. So I would think she'd be intimately familiar with the fact that the Latino Outreach Council did no outreach whatsoever in Oceano on this very important topic. And I would just also say, Aline, I feel you represent the OAC, the community at large, the Latino population in all positive ways. So however you feel you want to represent yourself and or the OAC tomorrow, I 1,000% support you on that.
I mean, what do you think? Councilmember White, since you have so much experience and I respect your opinion.
She can't speak for some reason.
At all? Okay.
We have a chat. I don't know why we didn't enable it. She could type in the chat. She says
She looks
thumbs up.
like she's okay.
Yeah. But we have a chat.
Yeah, she can go into chat.
It says chat disabled.
I don't know why. I mean,
Okay.
it's enabled in our settings.
Okay.
It's enabled in my, I mean, I can get into it.
I can get into it. It just says chat disabled once I'm in it.
Oh, mine doesn't.
Huh.
I'm gonna type hello right now.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yeah. And for me, it says chat disabled. I've been muted.
I don't know. So, Charles?
I wondered if, like I said, I'm willing to do the 5-second reminder that the OAC is on record in support of Plan A. And I wondered if, did the OBCA take a position on redistricting?
Lucia, do you want to take that question since you're the president?
Yes, so we did write our letter. Yes, and indeed, I forgot that Aline had told me that she was going to actually speak for the OBCA. So it's her choice, whatever to speak. But we did take a position. We wrote a letter, and if Alina chooses to speak for the council, for the OBCA, many of us will speak. Probably Bonnie and I and Janice, and we would all say we are the OBCA. So we don't need to say who represents. And we will be there, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so then I think that I will say that I am the chair of the Ocean Advisory Council.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, are we done?
Yep.
So I think that, if you haven't sent an email, I think that's important to do also. It doesn't have to be long, it's just a small paragraph. And you could just include one of those points that are in one of the letters that Charles sent to as a talking point there. Make it your own if you want. But I think it's important that it gets sent in by email and that we, if we can, and are able to go tomorrow, to go in person. Okay. Next, we have the old business. We have the curbs, the gutters, the sidewalks. I'm sure Charles has an update on that.
So I sent you all the one-page report from SLOCOG staff to the board of SLOCOG, the summary statement of what the status is of the grant proposal. I thought that Steve Hamamaikai did a nice job with that, and I won't bother reviewing it since you all have it. I'm going to share my screen with you and show you something that I got into today. Let me see here. Can you see that?
No.
I mean, it's
All? So it's,
but on my phone, I could make it big.
The numbers I can see, the words are a little small, that's all. That's better.
okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So if you go down here, now the Oceano Front Street project is number 16. Last month in this category, you'll recall, there were three projects. There's our project, there was the Antelope Grade, and there was a overpass east of Paso. So, and there was $1.8 million in the fund. So the Antelope Grade project and the overpass are like $3 million projects. I don't know the exact number, but they're way over 1.8. And so our project on Front Street to redo the intersections down there is tagged at 1.3 or 1.4. I've seen different numbers, but so there was plenty of money there to do that. So what has happened is that the Technical Advisory Committee of SLOCOG, I mean, it's a very complex bureaucracy. They decided to take all $1.8 million of that money and put it in another fund where there's now about $7 million, where now, these larger projects can apply and actually get the full amount to do their project. So my question to Stephen on the phone today was like, well, first of all, I just shared some feelings around it that, last month, when, we had that information about like this potential, or at least 2 months ago, and started the campaign to, get people to write in and say yes to Oceano project number 15. We really want that. So, and they're receiving they're receiving a lot of feedback from the community. They're getting a lot of emails. And what they did was they pulled all of that money out and put it in another category. And I don't even know what our status is to even be able to, well, we have no standing. We can't apply for that money. I mean, we're an advisory council. And I told Stephen it felt like a kick in the teeth. It's like the community's mobilized. We're going to them and saying, wonderful, that 1.3 million would be so wonderful to us and do such a great start for kicking off the revitalization plan. And they just eliminated it. So now what we have here, we're back to, remember the other project that was approved in 2020 that Lynn Compton never did anything about, the $279,000 to redo 17th Street Beach intersection next to Tapatio. So now what they're doing, you can see the 267 here. And what it says over here is match new D5 California Clean Cities Grant Program. So they're applying to this Clean Cities Grant Program, and they're going to use a $267,000, and this is for that same intersection there we're talking about. They're going to use this 267 to leverage their grant application and hopefully end up with $500,000 to make that project a Cadillac project. I mean, by that I mean a really nice,
Top of the line,
good materials, top of the line plaza there, or whatever you want to. A little Zocalo is what in Mexico what plazas are called. Zocolito, a little one, and it's. I want to tell you, and just that there's frustration around within organizations like this when they see things like this happen. That like, oh man, that's not cool. Stephen said that it would be perfectly appropriate for us to ask at that meeting for them to reinstate that 1.3 million back into that category and fund the Oceano complete streets project, which as spelled out in the revitalization thing. And so that's kind of the pivot that I need to make in terms of kind of the talking points for the December 8th meeting. I think that really need to get together a written statement for SLOCOG that, you know, that the council needs to approve. And we'll probably have to do that in a special meeting because I don't think we're going to be meeting again, are we, before December 8th? No, we're not.
No.
So I think it's the time to kind of include some of the, you know, a quick history of the bottom line is, like, you know, as an unincorporated community, we go to the county to take care of us in a way. You know, if we need infrastructure, if we need any of the things that city governments do for their people, we rely on the county to do that. And we have a county that has basically just about ignored us.
Abandoned is the word.
Yeah, it is. We are kind of abandoned. It's one of the reasons why when people hear, you know, I've told you this story before, you know, people tear up or something when I tell them that. It's like, whoa, they're, you know, looking at funding, getting a grant for curb gutters and sidewalks. It's all of a sudden you feel like, oh, they care. Well,
they don't.
Not really. I think that it's, while I'm not into identity politics either, but I'm into social justice. And this is, I think we need to start speaking up more directly to this, because all of these organizations have their mandates. I mean, all those nice flowery words from the contractor that the county, you know, has doing their outreach to Latinos, and literally nothing happens. I mean, that's an egregious kind of violation. But all of these agencies now have state mandates for environmental justice, social justice, looking at disadvantaged communities, and here's the 1.3, and they just jerk it out. So I think that they need to be held accountable, and that's always, you know, got to do it in a way that doesn't attack them personally, but gives them a way to kind of like do the right thing. And maybe a reminder of this will be helpful to them. I don't know, but I'm feeling pretty frustrated right now. So that's pretty much the report. The agenda packet for the meeting's 264 pages long.
You just bury us in this stuff.
Yeah. I decided not to send it to all of you to read for the meeting tonight.
Wow.
So it's not really, I wish I had better news.
So where did you say that they put they put it where? They took it out?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the category, but they put it into a large project category. See, here's the deal, that remember those other two projects, Antelope and the overpass, they need a lot of money. Actually, our project was the only one that could really have been fully funded out of that category. So kind of logical, right? I mean, it got in there in the first place as the Oceano project. Now, why it was done, why it wasn't left in there, there's some politics, there's some interagency politics. The county is, you know, SLOCOG is a separate agency from San Luis Obispo County. Now, certainly the county is a big player in SLOCOG. All 5 supervisors sit on the board. And so, they need to have working relationships, but there is a sense that the county really doesn't step up much. And in terms of, and for us being our little community, and when we need a new pair of shoes, it's the county that we go to help us get those shoes. And right now, SlowCog, I mean, that's been a big issue for them because the county has said to SlowCog, we're not doing anything for helping Oceano infrastructure plan. We're not even sure if we'll sign off on it if you get the grant, because we don't want to have any financial liability. Like if it's a $20 million project and it has an overrun of $1 million, then the county's on the hook for the $1 million. I can understand that they have concerns about that. But it's not like unique to our project. There's projects all over the county where these issues are addressed. The thing is that if you're a wealthy city, you can put up some money. We don't have squat. The county even comes in and takes our tax monies. The other cities around here in the South County rely on their transient occupancy taxes. It's millions of dollars. Our $1 million of transient occupancy taxes for 2020, the biggest year of TOTs in Oceano's history, in the middle of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
The county takes that money. Now I know Karen says, they use it to pay for the sheriffs, and we don't really know where that money goes. But the fact that TOT revenues are what cities use to pay for basic services, and that $1 million could pay for fire services rather than trying to, do a ballot initiative to tax all of us for it, when our community is generating this money that we don't get. The county takes it from us, and then they're pikers when we, want something back. So the picture is kind of coming into focus, and
it's very upsetting. You're saying that the Project 15 from Oceano is off the table?
It is. I don't know that answer, and Stephen didn't know the answer to that. But
well, it sounds like
I'll be drafting up a letter which I'll send around to all of you to formally ask this question, so that I get a formal answer from SlowCog, and I'll send it to I'll probably send it to Steve, and then ask him to kick it up the ladder. Hope to get that information soon, early next week. So it's holding them accountable, being civil, but holding them accountable.
April?
Hi, yes. So we're always in this predicament. Always, for decades, we've been in this predicament. So not saying anything, as Karen has recommended we do many a time, because we don't want to upset Lynn, doesn't get us anywhere. It literally gets us nowhere. I am at the point now where if we don't say anything, we're getting exactly what we get, whether we do or don't say anything. So at least say something.
Mm-hmm.
At least say something. That's number one. And number two, we only have one representative. We have no one else. We don't have a city council. We don't have a mayor. We don't have anybody. We have one person who absolutely has no interest in Oceano whatsoever. And that's just not me saying it. She proves it every day. She proves to us she does not care about Oceano, and Oceano is not her priority. But the thing that I think we really need to pay attention to is Oceano is starting to lose its disadvantaged status because the poorer people can no longer afford to live here. So they are slowly moving out while richer people are moving in. So this economic disadvantage status that we currently hold, we're going to lose grip on. And we will not have this supposed help and that everyone else uses around us. Pismo uses it to better themselves, our economic disadvantage. Grover uses it for their betterment. But Oceano gets no benefit out of it, and we're about to lose it because only the rich people will be able to afford to live here or have all these houses that are vacation rentals where the average person who lives here and only makes $60,000 has no home to live in our economically disadvantaged area. If we don't speak up about this, it's a catch-22. If we say nothing, we get nothing. If we say something, we get nothing. But in the end, we're just getting nothing. So we've got to do something. Something. The rich people who bought into this town, they're not at these meetings. They're not joining these groups. They just want to make sure that the homeless are off the street so that their Airbnb renter doesn't have to see the RV across the street that is in shambles. I literally had someone who lives in my neighborhood say, why aren't they getting rid of the RV in the neighborhood? That's disgusting. I don't want our Airbnb renter to see it. And I said, but what can we do to solve the problem? I don't care about solving the problem. I don't want my renter to see that because now that affects my property. This is their attitude through the whole community. They don't care if the fire trucks need money or not. They just expect the fire truck to show up. That's it. They don't care that we have a homeless crisis in our area. They just don't want to see the homeless. They don't care that there's no curbs and gutters and sidewalks because they don't walk our streets. They live other places and rent their houses out to tourists here. They don't care. And if we don't care, saying nothing's getting us nothing. Literally, it's not. I'm just so, Charles, I feel so bad for all the work you put into this, for nothing being in your control to fix this. It's all outside of our control. And the one person we've elected to represent us doesn't want to acknowledge us. She literally loathes us. Us four sitting here, she loathes us. That's not how, we gotta fix it. We've got to. That's it. I'm so frustrated. I'm sorry, Charles.
Well, it is upsetting, and April, I have to agree that if you don't say nothing, you don't get anything. You say something, you might as well say something. I believe that everybody should participate and defend the community, speak out for the community. You cannot be afraid of what individuals that are supposed to care and represent you, what they're going to think. They're going to think what they're going to think. And this is the community that you live in. This is your community. You have a right to state what you desire for your community and ask your representative who represents you to help out your community, to better your community. That's your right. We live in America, so we have that awesome right. And we need
have a
to
government system.
Exactly. And it's, I believe, one of the best in the world. So we need to use it before we lose it. And I do agree also with April, what you were saying, that we are going to lose if we continue the way things are going. We're going to lose a disadvantaged status because people are leaving. There are many Latinos. I myself at one time left Oceano, but just came back because I loved Oceano so much. Um, I had to buy a house in Santa Maria because if I could get more house over there, a nicer house that I could afford, and I moved there. And there's a lot of Latinos that do that. They move out of Oceano. They want to be here with all their, this is where they raised their families and stuff. But 20 years later, and their kids are going off to college, they want to buy their own home. They can't afford it here in Oceano, so they move to Santa Maria, Nipomo, Guadalupe, everywhere else.
And commute.
But they leave Oceano, unfortunately, and it's getting worse and worse as our prices. This is an area that's a desired area because it's the cheapest coastal area in California. So yes, prices are going up. There's no housing.
But our infrastructure isn't improving, and that's what is so bizarre to me. We put no money to make our town better just because the market is hot is why we're going to lose our disenfranchised status. not because we've improved our town.
Yeah, correct. So
Lucia's had her
Lucia
hand.
has her hand raised.
go ahead, Lucia.
Let us try to respect hand rising order. Thank you. Yes, we do need to.
We lost her?
Yeah, she's out.
Okay. So yes, we need to speak out.
So that's the end of my report on curb gutters. Oh, well, hey, and on a nice note that the Montaños, Bob and Ruth, who both worked at Oceano Elementary School, and Bob was a teacher there for 30 years. They were there tonight at parent night, distributing our handouts on curb gutters and sidewalks and getting people to sign the petitions. And I just got a text from them saying it went really well.
Good, awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Next on our agenda, are we done with this topic? We're done, right? Next on the agenda is a Pier Avenue response letter.
I think that was Lucia.
Mm-hmm. Have you met Charles? I don't think you have, right?
No.
Okay. All right. So we'll go on. We got the treasurer's report, which is Lucia. She's not back yet. And then we got the we're quickly like approaching ending the meeting without her, and she's
Great. We can get out of here earlier.
yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
The OBCA report, she does that, and well, she kind of said it already because you know that the OBCA did outreach to get people to participate tomorrow. Public comment. I think she's trying to call me. I'm scared to answer and lose you. Are you there, Lucia?
She's coming in now.
She's in the meeting.
Oh, okay. All right.
She's muted though.
Yeah, Lucia, unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, my computer shut down completely.
That's what happened to me last time. Okay.
I don't
So
understand. I was saying, yes, the census data, I agree with all the comments. The census data say that Oceania lost population. Of course, the entire California lost, only a few, but it did lose some. And listen to this, the average annual income per family has gone up. Yes, and the white population and the Hispanic population, it's not anymore most of it, but the non-Hispanic. So it really is changing. It really is changing. And then the other thing I wanted to add, I'm also really upset about Charles' report, and I have two things to say. So it seems to me then that those two big projects, because it's okay, things are serendipitous. Those two projects that were too big for the small grant got bumped into different, got pulled out, and then you would think, well, that gave Oceana a chance, but they pulled also their money out. So now those two other projects will have a chance to apply for their money in the other category.
Mm-hmm.
But that's obviously tyranny, murder, assassination. I mean, it's obvious. We need to say it, and we need to have a formal question and a formal answer, and we all need to shut up on the 8th and scream and really call it murder in a civil way, because it really is. My other question was, who are the other players in the slogan? Who are the other members of the
The Board of Supervisors, a representative from every city, and the head of Caltrans.
Oh, so the mayors are in there too.
For their own cities,
A
yes.
representative of the
A representative of the cities, and they have, and they all have right to that money too. That they all, it's not just everyone in the county and the cities have the right to apply for their money. Anybody can apply. Thank you, Charles, for your report. It was really good. It was really good.
I do want to mention that the general manager did send a letter. OCSD had sent a letter, and the general manager did remind them about the letter and sent a copy of the letter in support of the project. Karen Ray also sent a letter in support of the project that I know of. Will CC'd the directors on it, so I did see that.
April's hand is up.
I just wanted to add, and if I'm wrong, Charles, please correct me. My understanding of SLOCOG is that really it's a grouping of all the agencies that are within the county in various ways. But the SLOCOG is really what disperses money out based on instruction. Am I correct in that? Like SLOCOG's like the treasurer, basically, of grants.
SLOCOG is for all state and federal monies that come to the county for transportation.
Mm-hmm.
They manage that money, and they have a fairly large staff, and they have a board of directors made up of those people I said, and those are the people that vote on SLOCOG's recommendations.
Right.
And the planning that SLOCOG does, when you're talking about infrastructure, they're always identifying transportation infrastructure needs. And it's easy to understand why there's a lot more need than there is money to meet that. And so, it's not uncommon for a city or an area of the county to have a project on the books as one that SLOCOG says, this is a good project, we'd like to fund it. And then they create their priorities. And so you may wait 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to get funding, or in our case, 20 years, and to get funding. And if you really, and then there obviously, there always is, April, as you know, there's politics involved. And Bruce Gibson spoke to it in the last 2 months ago at SLOCOG, when he made a comment about how so much SLOCOG money has gone to North County in the last few years.
Yeah.
And it's not his district.
Where the wine tourists are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I wanted to make sure we all kind of understood what SLOCOG's role is. SLOCOG doesn't say, we're pulling this money and we're moving it over here and we're moving it over there. They're instructed to do those things by either input or lack of input, and they have to make decisions.
Right. And both of those, one of those, the Antelope Grade Project is in Debbie Arnold's district, and the overpass is in Pashang's district.
Both in North County.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, if our supervisor had, maybe our supervisor will stand up and say, well, I want that money back in there for Oceano.
Well, let's all hold our breath.
Yeah.
Treasurer's report.
Next, we got the OBCA report.
Oh, hello. Well, the OBCA is printing out 100 postcards, but it's expensive, with just a simple sentence that says support project number, whatever it was, I forgot it. And we are ready to send them all out and they're not even going to be stamped, they're not even going to be addressed. So we're going to actually have people, they're going to be one side in English, one side in Spanish, and they're going to and just explain the project, say that they support it, and we're going to scan them all and email them to SLOCOG. It's too late to stop the project. I think it won't do any harm, so we are still going to do it. That's all of my report for right now. And That's all I can think about it for matters that concern the council.
Any cleanup projects coming up?
Excuse me?
Any cleanup projects coming up?
No. Any other projects coming up?
Cleanups. You know how you guys like.
Oh, cleanup. I'm sorry. Oh, yes. I didn't think that would be a matter to bring up here, but it is. Thank you for reminding me. Actually, we're gonna have a bigger cleanup this month, and it's gonna be on the 28th, and we're gonna do it with the surf riders that Charles will represent and help to liaison us, and with a couple of groups from Cal Poly that want to do some community work and want to get to know Oceano. I think they are some of the same people that are working with the Development Council, and that just wanted to get to know the community better. I've been talking about to those people in relation only to this cleanup. So it's going to be the 28th. It's a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, and we meet on Pier Avenue at 10 at the usual place by the state campground.
By the Nature Center?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we can just dump the trash we collect in State Park's campground or in their big dumpsters. That's what we usually do.
Cool.
They know.
Then we have the treasurer's report. I'm sorry, was supposed to be before the OBCA, but the treasurer's report.
Treasury report?
Yeah, treasurer.
Okay, treasury report. You people, as I said to you in the email, April and I worked really hard, and and April is an expert. We could not change the settings for the fundraising. The council is a nonprofit, but does not have a nonprofit ID. And when we type in our name in the database, in the IRS database, we do not appear, obviously, because we do not have a nonprofit status. So the GoFundMe will not take the council as the organizers of the fundraiser, and not even as the bank account. I mean, they could take it as the organizer, but that was the most important part. They would not take the council's name as a recipient of the money, because then we had to put in each bank account. Because if we type in, it's not personal, but it's business, it's non-profit. Because if it's personal, it goes to my account, my money. So we just couldn't do it. So the best thing we thought of, it was either erase the whole thing, but that wouldn't take us anywhere, in the sense that then we just thought that it would do no harm to set it up that Aline and Lucia, as you have seen it, organize these fundraisers as community residents in behalf of the Ocean Advisory Council. And I let everybody know immediately. It's out on the table now. If again, with just a little button, we can delete the whole thing. We collected some money. We just got in another $50 from a Susan that I don't know who she is. But now and then money comes in. I don't see any harm in it. I pledge that I will put all the money that gets into my account from GoFundMe into the council's account. I will keep track of all the money that comes in, of all the money that comes out, so that I am accountable because I don't want to get in trouble, because somebody can report me, because you see, I don't report to the IRS the money that gets to my bank account as income, because I'm going to give it to you. That's what April explained to me. But in order for me to prove that, I had to really give it to you and have receipt of that. So that's all my report. So we got another $50. So we have about $772 today. Thank you.
700 and how much?
72. Oh, no, excuse me, just a minute. This is my old, it was 754 plus 50, it's $800. Más o menos, because they keep 3%. So it's an estimate.
So you got another $50, another donation for $50 from who?
Yeah.
Do you know? Can you say?
From a Oceano resident that
Okay.
say that they did, they knew me from the dunes activities.
Uh-huh. So they sent it to the GoFundMe that we set up, the
Yes,
one.
yes, the you and I set up, but
Uh-huh.
April and I changed it to say you and I instead of saying the OAC.
Okay, so I have not seen it on my Facebook. Is it running? Is it?
In your what?
I haven't seen it on Facebook. I have not seen it.
It's a GoFundMe website. It's the exact same thing. It's the same one that you and Lucia originally created. We just took the OAC's name off it in that the OAC isn't collecting the money. It's the exact same thing. It's the same website.
Yeah, but I haven't. Was it shared? I haven't seen it on my Facebook.
Have you put it on your Facebook?
The
Alina.
original one.
That's the one.
That's the same. Hasn't changed.
Okay, so I'm gonna go and look at it again. Maybe they've changed the name. Maybe it's on my feed way down. Okay, I need to share it.
GoFundMe doesn't talk to Facebook. People have to put it on Facebook, and Lucia doesn't have Facebook, so she didn't.
So that wasn't
post
done.
it.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will see how to go about doing it then. Go
It can
on the
go on
website and then okay.
It can go on the OAC website if we wanted to. It could go on wherever you want it to go. It's its own web page.
Yeah, that we should have a. Whoops, sorry. I have my hand up to talk, but
Go ahead, Charles.
Well, first of all, a question. Are the people who donate getting a thank you note from us?
Yes, I am. As I wrote to you and I wrote to everybody, I write a thank you note. Absolutely, I keep track of them. I ask them how they know about us and all of that.
Great, thank you. And I did write to James because I'm thinking it'd be great to have on our homepage a banner, with the link, as well as having it on Nextdoor and on our Facebook page and all of that. And that's all we need is really the hyperlink to the GoFundMe site.
Correct.
And which is, easy to do if you know what you're doing. But so I wrote to James, said, hey, we've got $200. We'd like to retain you to do, some work on the website, but basically it's going to be things like maybe uploading some new documents or, helping us with something we need help with, or like posting a banner for us. We'll get that worked out. And if you're interested, could you, get back to me? And he hasn't. So I'm going to follow up with that letter. He may be very busy. I know he's pretty busy working. He's a political consultant, so this is the time they make their money. Yeah. But I haven't heard back from him.
Okay. So then I will look into putting that on Facebook. I'll just have to go on the GoFundMe website.
Yep.
And I can do that. Do I need a number or password, Lucia?
Well, no.
I think you just cut and paste the link to your
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
to your
And I
Facebook
sent the
page.
link to everybody.
Oh, okay. I'll look for it.
However, Alina, you and I are the administrators, so you already know the password to yourself. You remember? So it's you and me. It's not just me. It's you and I. So if you wanna get in and you wanna make some changes, please let's get together and do it. Okay?
Okay, because I can't recall the password right now. Did I save it on my phone?
I told you the easy way to make passwords, so you should remember.
But yes, there's a password. You can always get it, Aline. That's not a problem.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember what it is. I know.
Well, we're not giving it out online, so move on.
Okay, let's move on. Okay. Next we have the Oceana Community Service District report. That would be me. We did meet. When was the date that we met? And
Wednesday.
yeah, this last Wednesday, whatever the date was. I want to say it was the 10th. Yeah, the 10th, right before our meeting. We basically just discussed the SB 1383, which is the new recycling law that we all have to get, on board with here in California. And the way I understood it is that basically it makes businesses and other entities besides residences that are already supposed to be doing the recycling, now they have to have like 3 bins. They have to do, like the green bin with all the natural stuff from your yard or whatever, and then the recycling, and then the regular garbage. And now they're going to include an extra bin that they're going to take to all the homes, where it's going to be basically like food, uh, I guess food garbage or residue or what, I don't know how you would call it, but the scraps. And they're going to tell us how to go about doing that. So it's going to be a little bit more, an extra container. In other words,
Organic waste.
Organic waste is exactly, exactly, April. So that's the way the whole state is going, and that's what we have to do. Also, all like state and county agencies are going to be required to do at least, I think it was 30% of use of recycled paper. So it's going to be like mandated that we use the paper from that's recycled. They want us to conserve as much as possible. So we, of course, kind of like vote. We don't really have a choice to not participate. So we voted to approve that, those changes for our area, for Oceana. And it's going to hike up our rates a little, but we can't do anything about it. It's a good thing for the environment. That was it. Basically, we spent the whole time just talking about. It was a short meeting, and yeah, I think we approved. No, we did approve an adjustment. I think it was. Let me see if I can find it. Should have wrote it down. I think it was for 7,000 something adjustment to our budget, which is on track. So, yeah, that was about it. Oh, then there was of course, following that had to be we had to amend the MOA because of all the changes to the Integrated Waste Management Authority, because of all the changes that are happening. 7,500 budget adjustment to the general fund was authorized. That was it. Am I still here?
Yeah.
Okay, because I had an incoming call. I was in like, yeah, that's it for my report.
Okay.
Next, we have the items for next agenda, future notices and correspondence.
Lucia has her hand up.
Go ahead, Lucia.
Yes, Aline, thank you for your report. Do we have the OCSD to thank for those new trash?
Oh
And
yeah, they did mention those. I forgot. Yes, it was a grant that when was that? Like over a year ago. Yeah,
so,
they're nice, aren't they?
so tell me how many they are, and if you recall the locations.
Oh, they mentioned it. I should have written it down, but I believe there was 8
Nine.
and 9.
I haven't seen any on Pier Avenue. What are they?
They're different look. I thought that they said there was one by Pier Avenue.
There should be a map.
A map?
Yeah.
No, I don't. They didn't include a map. I remember
Okay.
seeing a picture, but I think that was the meeting before. I can't find a picture of them, but there's really a nice picture of one of the agendas, and it's not this agenda because I don't see it.
But I would imagine that they would be where the tourists are. And those are, I mean, they should be on the beach community. Pier Avenue, they should be there. At least a couple, beginning and mid. Since,
I'm pretty sure there is some somewhere. I remember them saying
okay.
that there was somewhere
Okay,
in
that's
that
all.
area. Yeah.
I will do my homework and I will look better and I will do my inquire. Thank you.
All righty. Do we have any future agenda items?
Can't think of anything.
Nothing new.
Okay. So looks like we're at the end, and it's 5 till 7, so we'll finish 5 minutes early,
Move to adjourn.
and I
Second.
will see you tomorrow morning.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye, Karen.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.